What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the biggest video this far for the season. It is Decision Day Predictions. I can't believe that we are already here for the last weekend of the regular season. So let's just take a look at the standings now. So with Inter Miami getting the job done on Wednesday 4-1, they have now clinched their spot in the playoffs with the 5th spot. So that leaves 2 spots open in the East with 3 teams available for those spots. So that is the East. And then for the West, it is still the same. There's 2 spots open and 4 teams left to get those 2 spots. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the games. So there's going to be some games that are probably going to be a throwaway game for teams that don't really care. And then there's going to be some games that are going to be fantastic because they're in the East. The 2 of the 3 teams that are up for those 2 spots, they play against each other. So that is going to be fantastic to watch because that is going to be a playoff game. So first up, we have Atlanta United versus New York City FC. They are at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Currently, Atlanta are 2 wins, a draw, and 2 losses in the last 5. And NYCFC are 3 wins, a draw, and a loss in their last 5. They are currently on a 3-game win streak, which maybe they are getting back into a groove now that they are without Castellanos. Atlanta have scored 7 goals in their last 5 games, and then NYCFC have not kept a clean sheet. They have kept the most clean sheets with 14. NYCFC haven't lost to Atlanta United in the last 5 matches. They've won 3 and drawn 2. With this being the last game of the season, I think Atlanta is going to want to show out for their fans. So I think that Atlanta is actually going to win this game at home, and I think it'll be a 2-1 victory over NYCFC there at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Moving on, we have Chicago Fire versus the New England Revolution. Currently, Chicago Fire are 2 wins, a draw, and 2 losses in the last 5, and the New England Revs are 2 wins and 3 losses in their last 5. These 2 teams are both eliminated from the playoffs. They set 10th and 12th in the standings. Chicago, though, have scored 10 goals in their last 5 matches, and the Revs haven't lost to Chicago Fire in their last 7 matches with 3 wins and 4 draws. It's going to be hard to pick these games, especially with teams that are eliminated. I will have to say, though, I think with the way Chicago is playing, even though that they did lose 2 in a row, and then they're back on the winning track against Cincinnati last week, I think that they'll get this done at home, and I think it'll be a low-scoring game. I think Chicago win 1-0 there at SeatGeek Stadium. So next up, we have DC United versus FC Cincinnati. Currently, DC United are 2 draws and 3 losses in the last 5, and FC Cincinnati are 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss in their last 5. FC Cincinnati have to win this game to get into the playoffs, I think. So they're going to have to give it their all, and then DC United are just going to throw people out there, and I think that they're going to try to upset FC Cincinnati just to make it where they don't make the playoffs. So it's going to be a good matchup. DC United haven't lost to FC Cincinnati in their last 7 matches. They have won 4 and drawn 3. Although FC Cincinnati are unbeaten in the last 5 away matches. It's going to be a tough one, but I believe that FC Cincinnati will go on the road and get the victory. It's going to be a tough game. I think it'll end up 3-1, and I know that it's going to be a late goal for FC Cincinnati because DC United are going to want to tie it just to make that. So it's going to open things up, and FC Cincinnati will score late. So I'm going to go with 3-1 FC Cincinnati, with Cincinnati making the playoffs. So next up, we have Inter Miami versus Montreal. Currently, Inter Miami are 4 wins and a loss in their last 5, and then Montreal are 4 wins and a draw in their last 5. These 2 teams are 2 and 5 in the standings. I got a feeling, though, that Montreal are going to try to win this game just because that could give them home field advantage. If they can win this game and the Union lose their game, which I don't think is going to happen because they are at Subaru Park, but just in that chance. So I think Montreal are going to push for that win, even though it is away. I just feel like, but Miami could also, because I think at that point in time, that gives them if they would win, it would give them enough points to have them have a home match there in the first round of the playoffs. So this is going to be a tough one. This is going to be playoff mentality, in my opinion. It's a hard one to pick. I'm going to have to say that Inter Miami win this game at home 2-1 there at Lockhart Stadium. Next up, we have New York Red Bulls versus Charlotte FC. Currently, the Red Bulls are 2 wins, 3 losses in the last 5, and Charlotte are 3 wins, a draw, and a loss in their last 5. With their draw over the midweek, they are now eliminated from the playoffs. We talked about the last game. The Red Bulls need to get a draw, or actually I think they need to get a win to keep that 4th spot. Yeah, they would need a win, I believe, to keep that 4th spot so they have a home game in the first round of the playoffs. And I think that they might do it. Charlotte, though, have scored 10 goals in their last 5 matches. They are at Red Bull Arena, but we know that the Red Bulls struggle at home this season. I'm going to have to say that the Red Bulls actually win this 2-0 at home. They changed that, and I know that they need to have a home matchup, a home game to advance in the playoffs, in my opinion. So I will have to say they win this game 2-0 there at Red Bull Arena. So next up is probably the biggest matchup of Decision Day. It is Orlando City versus Columbus Crew. Whoever wins this game is in the playoffs. Or I think if they draw, Columbus get in. So Orlando has to win this game. They are not in very good form right now. Currently, they are 1 win and 4 losses in their last 5. Currently on a 2-game losing streak, whereas Columbus Crew are 1 win, 3 draws, and a loss in their last 5. Orlando City and Columbus Crew have not drawn in any of their last 9 games against each other. Orlando have scored 7 goals in their last 5 matches, but Columbus also haven't kept a clean sheet in their last 5 matches and haven't won an away game in their last 6 matches. That looks good for Orlando. At Explorer Stadium, Columbus is struggling away. I think that they get it done. I think that Orlando win this game, and I think that there's going to be some goals. I think there's going to be a total of 5. I think that Orlando wins this game 3-2 there at Explorer Stadium, and it's probably going to be late drama. Moving on, we have Philadelphia Union versus Toronto FC. Currently, the Union are 3 wins, a draw, and a loss in their last 5, whereas Toronto are 1 draw and 4 losses in their last 5. I think the Union need to win this game just so they can get that number 1 spot in the East, so they have the bye week and home field advantage through the playoffs. They struggled the last 2 games. They tied against Atlanta and then lost to Charlotte. I can't believe that they lost 4-0 to Charlotte. That was very surprising to me. They are at Subaru Park, and I think that they're going to get this done pretty easily. And I'll say that it'll be a 3-0 victory, in my opinion. Toronto is just that bad. So 3-0 there at Subaru Park for the Union. So next up, we have Austin FC versus Colorado Rapids. Currently, Austin are 1 win, a draw, and 3 losses in the last 5, whereas Colorado are 3 wins, a draw, and a loss in their last 5. There's no real implications on this game. I don't believe that Colorado are still in it. No, they are eliminated. So really, I think that Austin will get it done. Austin and Colorado Rapids have not drawn any of their last 4 matches, but Colorado haven't won an away match in their last 5. So I believe that Austin get this done. I don't think it'll be a big scoring game. I think it'll be a 1-0 victory for Austin. Next up, we have FC Dallas versus Sporting Kansas City. Currently, FC Dallas are 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss in their last 5. And Sporting Kansas City are 3 wins and 2 draws in their last 5. Again, no real implications on this game. Sporting is out of the playoffs, and FC Dallas are in the playoffs. They've clinched, but there's no way for them to move up in the standings. However, they could end up with the same points as LA Galaxy if LA Galaxy would win their matchup. And I don't know. Unfortunately, they don't do it just by goal difference, so I'm not sure who would pass who on that. FC Dallas are unbeaten in the last 6 home games. They have scored 7 in their last 5 matches. Sporting haven't won an away match in their last 6 matches and haven't lost in the last 7 matches. So they've drawn or won in the last 7. I think FC Dallas will get this done at home. I think that the scoreline will be 2-1 there at Toyota Park, with maybe a an early second half goal to win the game. Next up, we have Houston Dynamo versus LA Galaxy. Currently, Houston are 2 wins, a draw, and 2 losses in the last 5, where LA Galaxy are 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss in their last 5. Again, I think if LA would win this game, they could tie in points with FC Dallas. So could Nashville. If they would win, they could get up there to the 50. I just don't... I got a feeling in this game, LA Galaxy are going to relax. They tied over the weekend versus Real Salt Lake. And I got a feeling Houston's going to draw them here at BBVA Stadium. And I think that it's going to be a 2-2 draw there in Houston. Next up, we have LAFC versus Nashville Sc. Currently, LA are 3 wins, a draw, and a loss in their last 5, whereas Nashville are 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss in their last 5. LA are currently first, where Nashville is 5th. And it's one of those things, I think if Nashville would win, they would hit that 50-point mark, so they could end up in 3rd or 4th. I don't know. Again, like I said, these two teams have only played each other once, and LAFC won that matchup, and it was at Geodis Park. Although Nashville are unbeaten in the last 4 away matches, but I don't think that they'll get it done here. I think that LA will win this game at home, and I will say that it will be a 3-1 victory for LAFC. So another big matchup, which is a playoff game pretty much, is Minnesota United versus Vancouver Whitecaps. Currently, Minnesota are 1 draw and 4 losses in their last 5. They are not looking good right now, whereas Vancouver Whitecaps are 3 wins and 2 losses in their last 5 with a 3-game winning streak. Currently, Minnesota are 7th, whereas Vancouver are 9th, but only 2 points separate them. So if it's win and get in, pretty much, on this matchup. Minnesota have not won a match in the last 6 matches. They haven't kept a clean sheet in the last 12. Vancouver haven't won an away match in their last 7 games, so this is going to be a tough one. It's a tough one to pick. I'm going to have to say in this matchup that they're going to draw. I think it will be a 2-2 draw there in Minnesota, which at that point in time, it will give Minnesota the playoff spot, I believe. Potentially, they could still be out because of Real Salt Lake. But I will say it ends in a 2-2 draw there in Minnesota. So our second playoff matchup in the West, so this is all weird because why is there playoff matches in Decision Day? It's kind of weird and funny that, again, we're in to the second weekend, not weekend because those 2 matches were midweek for playoff spots, and here we're playing teams that it's win and get in. So it's very weird to me how these games ended up. Anyway, Real Salt Lake versus Portland Timbers. Real Salt Lake are currently 2 draws and 3 losses in their last 5, and Portland Timbers are 3 wins, a draw, and a loss in their last 5. Currently, the Timbers are 6th with 46 points, and Real Salt Lake at 8th with 44 points. So, again, if they win, there's a potential that they get in. Currently, Timbers are in. They haven't won, Real Salt Lake haven't won a match in 6 attempts. Portland have not lost to Real Salt Lake in their last 5 meetings. They're 4 wins and a draw. I think this is going to be a really good game. And Real Salt Lake are pretty good at home, but they have lost their last 2 home games and then drawn their 3rd one. I think Timber are too good. I think Timber are going to win this matchup. If not, they're going to tie. But I think that they win this matchup 2-1 against Real Salt Lake, getting them into the playoffs, which I'm hoping happens because I really do like the Timbers. And if only they could play at Providence Park, because if they could play at Providence Park, I think that they could go pretty far, but they won't. If they win, that puts them at 49 points. There's a potential they could go into 4th, depending on what I picked for the LA Galaxy, which they tied. So, yeah, they could jump up into 4th, but yeah, I think that Portland win this game 2-1 against Real Salt Lake. So that leads us into our last matchup, which is kind of a throwaway matchup. It's Seattle Sounder versus San Jose Earthquake. Seattle are currently 2 wins, a draw, and 2 losses in the last 5, whereas San Jose are 1 win, a draw, and 3 losses in their last 5. Seattle are 11th in the table. San Jose are 14th in the table. I think that Seattle is going to get this done at home. San Jose is just not that good of a team this year. And I'm going to say that Seattle win this pretty easily, and I will say they win this game 2-0 there at Lumen Field. So that is all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please give it a thumbs up if you like the video. If you like the content, please subscribe. We are on our way for that 300 subscriber mark. We're getting close, so I want to hit that before the end of the season. So we got the playoffs left. Please comment below. Tell me who you think will make the playoff, who will win these games. And until then, we'll see you next time.